Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out this afternoon. So welcome to all of you to the Chubb Fellowship Lecture with our very distinguished guest, Dr. Hawa Abdi Delable. It's Somalia's most celebrated and known physician, humanitarian, and human rights activist. And we're also extremely delighted to have Dr. Abdi and her daughter, Dr. Deqo Mohamed. A similarly important physician and human rights activist. We're really thrilled to have both of them back, for Deqo, back at Yale with us, and for Dr. Abdi, of course, the first time to Yale. This is truly an honor. So I want to begin by first asking everyone to please turn off their cell phones or any kinds of devices that you might have, just so that we don't disrupt the conversation today. And we also ask that if you are taking photographs, to probably refrain from doing so, especially with the flash, because it's very bright in here and it's already quite distracting. So that would be very, very helpful. So I should pause and introduce myself. I'm Mary Liu. I'm the head of Timothy Dwight College. I'm a professor in the Department of History and the program in American Studies. As the head of Timothy Dwight College, I have the honor of serving as the custodian of the illustrious Chubb Fellowship, established in 1941 out of a prior large donation for education purposes, made in 1936 by Hendon Chubb, who graduated from the class of 1895. Since establishment, the Chubb Fund has adhered to the goals of providing encouragement and aid to Yale students interested in government and American public affairs. And I'm pleased to announce this year that we took some of the Chubb Fellowship money and created summer fellowships for TD students to engage in the world of public service, and it's really thrilling. We've awarded 6 Chubb Fellowships this year, and it's extremely exciting to see what these students will do. The fellowship initially aimed to foster among Yale undergraduates an interest in public service and local and state affairs. It grew over the years to include numerous distinguished visitors in national and international affairs, as well as leaders in the world of the arts and humanities. Since the 1940s, the Chubb Fellows Lecture Series has inspired generations of Yale students to undertake public service and pursue leadership roles in the hopes of using their Yale education to create a better world today and for posterity. The fellowship has hosted 4 U.S. presidents: George H.W. Bush, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, and Harry Truman. And in recent years, we have welcomed a wide range of national and international leaders, including Wynton Marsalis, Aung San Suu Kyi, and Shah Rukh Khan. It's a great honor for Timothy Dwight College to offer this public lectureship series as a gift to the Yale University community, as well as the greater New Haven community. So welcome to all of you to today's events. So with this quick description of the history and aims of the Chubb Fellowship, I'm delighted that we're welcoming to Yale today Dr. Hawa Abdi. We're most grateful to her and her family for working with us since early January to join us in New Haven. And to be honest, when we began the conversations, we did not expect for this spring semester's Chubb Fellowship lecture that we would be navigating such a complicated and difficult legal and political terrain to bring Dr. Abdi into the United States. But we're extremely thankful that she is here with us today. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge the many people on this campus, that is here on this campus and beyond, who were very steadfast in their assistance in bringing Dr. Abdi here. First and foremost, I wish to particularly thank President Peter Salovey and his office for giving support. Yale University's Office of the General Counsel, particularly Alex Dreyer, Vice President and General Counsel, and his wonderful staff of attorneys, Kara Haas, Carolyn Handel, and Susan Sawyer. And I just want the 3 of them to pop up for a second and just be acknowledged for all their amazing work. I think I owe you all some flowers. I wish to thank my colleagues also in the Yale Law School, particularly Professor Munir Ahmad for his advice and support. And last but not least, I wish to thank Assistant Dean Sarah Lulo, who's right there, who directs the law school's international programs and the Gruber Program for Global Justice and Women's Rights. Dean Lulo's ongoing support throughout the spring has been instrumental in today's events, and I cannot thank her enough for everything she's done. So I will pause here and introduce two wonderful people, an alum and a current student, to introduce our distinguished guests for this afternoon. Introducing Dr. Abdi and Dr. Mohamed will be Nicholas Suku, and who graduated from Yale and Timothy Dwight College in 2016, and senior Charlotte Feingold. I've asked these amazing students to do the honor of introducing our distinguished guests because it was Nicola's first efforts that brought the incredible work of Drs. Abdi and Mohamed to my attention, and I can't thank her enough for reaching out and telling me about their amazing work. So Nicola is originally from Cape Town, South Africa, and majored in ethics, politics, and economics, and participated in the multidisciplinary academic program in education studies. As a senior, she co-directed the project to design a human rights and conflict resolution curriculum for the Dr. Hawa Abdi Foundation. After graduating, she moved back to South Africa to work at Equal Education, a youth-led social movement that uses research, litigation, and activism to fight systemic inequalities in the South African education system. So we're thrilled to have her back from South Africa to be here with us today. And Charlotte is from California and a member of the first class of the multidisciplinary program in human rights connected to the Yale Law School. She now directs a team of undergraduates who are designing the Hope Village Human Rights and Conflict Resolution curriculum for the Dr. Hawa Abdi Foundation. Please join me in welcoming Nicola and Charlotte to the podium.
Thank you, Professor Liu. We are very grateful to you and the Chubb Fellowship for giving us the opportunity to introduce two of our personal heroes, Dr. Hawa Abdi and her daughter, Dr. Deqo Mohamed, for this prestigious event.
Okay, Dr. Abdi was born in Mogadishu, Somalia. She studied medicine on a Soviet Union scholarship and became one of her country's first gynecologists. While practicing as a doctor, Dr. Abdi also obtained her law degree. Later, she noticed the need for a rural women's clinic and established one of those on her family's land close to Mogadishu. For years, she woke up very early to tend to her farm, then traveled to Mogadishu, where she worked full-time as a doctor and professor of medicine, and then afterwards, in the evenings, returned home to see to the line of women waiting outside her clinic on her land. These women paid only if they had the means, and Dr. Abdi invested all that she had into maintaining and growing the clinic to meet the need. But following the outbreak of civil war in Somalia in 1991, the need became overwhelming. As those fleeing the violence of Mogadishu by foot arrived at the clinic en masse, Dr. Abdi opened up her land to provide them with medical aid, food, clean water, and shelter. She stretched her limited resources as far as she could in an attempt to save the lives of the hundreds of people that arrived at the camp daily. But in the first year of the war, Dr. Abdi and her team were forced to bury more than 10,000 people. Nevertheless, she persevered. Renamed the Hawa Abdi Hope Village, the site is now home to over 90,000 people who live peacefully together. They have access to a 400-bed hospital, a sustainable agricultural program, a women's education center, and a primary and high schools. Dr. Abdi's 2013 memoir, Keeping Hope Alive, co-written with Sarah Robbins, who has joined us here today, details a life of remarkable strength, even as the violence of war, famine, and poverty took the lives of so many, including some of those most dearest to her. Dr. Abdi's resilience, and the resilience of all she has built, is evident still today. As Somalia weathers yet another terrible drought, Hope Village is mobilizing to feed and care for its people. Dr. Abdi has been recognized in the US and abroad for her decades of incredible humanitarian work. She is a Nobel Peace Prize nominee and has received the John J. Justice Award, the Vital Voices Woman of the Year Award, BET's Social Humanitarian Award, and the Roosevelt Institute's Freedom from Want Award. And it is fitting that she should be honored with the Chubb Fellowship today.
Dr. Deqo Mohamed and her sister, Dr. Amina Mohamed, have always shared their mother's vision for Hope Village and have assisted in the hospital since they were teenagers. Dr. Deqo Mohamed studied medicine in Moscow. She then came to the US as a refugee, where she gained extensive experience in healthcare before returning to Somalia. She now runs Hope Village and is CEO of the Dr. Hawa Abdi Foundation. She also advises the Somali Ministry of Health on women and girls' rights. Her sister now lives in Kenya, where she runs her own women's health clinic. The partnership between Yale and the Dr. Hawa Abdi Foundation began several years ago and strengthened last fall when Dr. Deqo Mohamed was here as a Greenberg World Fellow and teamed up with Gabriela Hernandez Cardoso, another member of the World Fellows class of 2016, and Professor James Levinson of the Jackson Institute for Global Affairs to design a course in which Yale students would create a business plan for Hope Village. This spring, graduate and undergraduate students from across Yale are helping Hope Village residents to identify products that they can manufacture and sell both inside and outside of Hope Village so as to make the community more sustainable. And Nicola and I are endlessly thankful to have been entrusted with another project that Hedlu mentioned that Dr. Deqo Mohamed commissioned from Yale, a human rights and conflict resolution curriculum for Hope Village's new high school. Since October 2015, when our team began working on this task, we have had guidance and support from Dr. Deqo Mohamed and her teachers on the ground, as well as from Hope Metcalf and Jim Silk, the directors of the Shell Center for International Human Rights, and Sarah Lulo. Our four-year curriculum, rooted in the history and values of Hope Village, will get students to think critically about the history of conflict in Somalia, about what human rights are, and how they can use them to advocate for change in their community. And we are so proud of the hard work put in by our team, who is also here today.
We feel incredibly lucky to have Dr. Hawa Abdi with us today to share lessons from a lifetime dedicated to the selfless service of her people. We have a great deal to learn from the community that Dr. Abdi has built, one that continues to prioritize gender equality and solidarity across ethnic lines, even in times of unimaginable hardship.
And before Dr. Abdi and Dr. Mohamed speak, their work will be introduced through the following video, produced in 2013 by the Vital Voices Global Partnership, which works with women leaders to further women's economic empowerment, political participation, and human rights.
My mother was dreaming that I would be a great person. She became pregnant with her seventh child when I was 11 years old. As her stomach swelled, she felt weakness and pain. But she said, "No problem, Hawa. Everything will be okay." Whether it comes to us through violence, disease, or even childbirth, death is not the end of our story. You have to get up and help someone who needs you. I became a doctor because I wanted to save others from feeling the pain I felt when my mother died. The Somalia I grew up in was so much different than today. Mogadishu was the best place in all Africa. In a rural area, children had fresh milk, fresh meat, fresh air. Life was very beautiful, very simple, and very peaceful. It started to go bad in 1988 when the government collapsed. More and more people come to us to escape the fighting. The Somali people have tradition of hospitality. When a traveler comes to you, you have to give him the best of what you have. It seems only natural that the problems we could solve, like giving someone a place to stay and a feeling of safety, should be solved. When the space became full, family began to sleep under the trees. After more than 20 years, it became 90,000 people. These people have become my family. Here we are all Somali. If you want to identify with your clan, you cannot stay. In time, my children become doctors, and now we work together. Each crisis we face gives way to the next as a new group takes control of our area. Sometimes these children with their guns, they told me, "You are an old woman, you cannot be in charge." I said, "And you are a strong young man. What have you done for these people?" whether to fighting or famine. We have lost as many as 50 people per day. But we get up, we go on, and we help someone who needs us. Today, our one-room clinic is a 400-bed hospital. I live for the hope that peace will come, that my children and my grandchildren will someday know that Somalia I loved. Until that time, they can build on what I have started. I'm Dr. Hawa Abdi. This is my vital voice. Now, raise yours.
Please join us in welcoming Dr. Hawa Abdi and Dr. Deqo Mohamed once again.
So thank you so much for coming here. As I said, this is a true honor to have you here on Yale's campus and to talk to this wonderful audience who's here to learn about your work with Hawa Abdi Village and in your long career of service to Somalia. I just wanted to start by asking you a question about what you remember growing up in the Somalia that had undergone so many changes from independence onward, and how you came to the decision to become a doctor to serve your people.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. When I was a child and died my mother, I felt bad, and I decided that time to become a doctor to save mother's life. My father was kind and he was intelligent. All his friends come at that time to send a girl outside was very difficult for Somali traditional way. But he sent me because he could, and he was understanding that studying is very best things of life. He sent me to Soviet Union, and when my dream became, over, I decided to study well. When I went to Soviet Union, I was studying night and day to become a doctor, to save other mothers. So I finished my study after 7 years. I come back. I began to work at the hospitals, big hospitals in Mogadishu. I have seen that the justice is not very good. Then I began to study a faculty of law. In 1972, I finished 1971 medical school. Then I finished also the law school. I was working in big hospitals, but always they were bringing us a mother who is already nearly to die because she lost a lot of blood, or a child is not coming. The delivery was very difficult. In rural area, they were bringing us. Many mothers were dying before we done nothing. So I decided to go to the rural area to help women rural area.
So how long were you working in Mogadishu before you decided to open the clinic?
I finished 71, and I went out to the rural area 1983.
And did you continue your relationship to the hospitals in Mogadishu, or did you completely just build a brand new?
No, I was having Mogadishu's hospitals with my friend were there working, and they were coming Sundays. We have Fridays. On Fridays, they were coming to me because the city sometimes they want to go outside bring, breathe to fresh air. We were having relation with the big hospitals in Mogadishu. But at 1990, it broke out civil war.
I see.
This civil war is causing, because Africa all, we have disease which calls tribalism. Tribalism. Two clans was beginning to fight. One clan will be stronger than other. One weak, they will kill and destroy all their property.
Can you say a little bit about what your clinic was like before the Civil War broke out in 1991?
I began a one-room clinic.
One-room clinic.
But the rural areas, sometimes they don't want to go to the hospitals. They prefer a traditional medicine. So to convince them was very difficult. But at last, they understood that the hospital can help them. So they come to me, many patients daily, 100 about numbers. My number was 100 per day.
At the peak was 100 per day.
Yes, yes, yes.
But at first, did you have difficulty getting getting local people to come to the clinic? Is that what you were saying?
10 or 20 before.
Only 10 or 12?
30 days.
First few days, yes.
Then we began to, with my daughter, Deqo, going to the small villages every Friday and to ask if there is a child sick or a woman sick or we have plenty of malaria. We were bringing our medicine. I was checking when we got a white coat. The children, first time, they were running from us. Then they adopted us because the child, when the child is sick, Deqo was distributing medicine. I visited. We have our medicine. I will write a prescription. Deqo will bring and will distribute or to give the child which is sick or woman.
And how old was Deqo at the time when she was traveling with you in the rural areas?
I was 10 or 12, I think. So
Yes,
very
yes.
young.
Yes,
Very
yes.
young,
She was very small.
I think what she meant, because of Somali culture and tradition, hospital is seen as a death place. So because they're arriving, the patient come to the hospital last minute, and where we don't have a well-equipped hospital, so we're losing a lot of patients. Mm-hmm. So they see it's a disaster place to go. So when in the beginning they didn't come to her, she came up with this mobile clinic where we go out and go to them in the villages, and it was very fun to just be around and traveling. As a kid, we were just having fun. So I learned all the medicine, antibiotics, paracetamols, their names, and they were just like, give 10, 15. So we were being I was a pharmacist earlier than before I become a doctor. So. Yeah.
Did you incorporate traditional methods of healing as part of your practice?
What?
Traditional medicine was a practice.
Sometimes I was doing, sometimes more effective traditional medicine than other modern medicine, especially in Africa.
So I imagine this must have been a very peaceful time of practicing before the war.
Yes, that's very, very peaceful time.
And so can you describe how it changed after the outbreak of the Civil War? How did that affect your clinic?
It was a
specifically?
disaster. There was no one will go his job. Africa, we live, we have farms and animals. Especially women of Africa is very strong. They were carrying their family, their hand, because they are digging farms, rearing animals, and they are carrying their children on their back.
Yeah.
So we had a difficult time after broke out civil war. because no one can go and do his job.
Do you still remember the first families that came to your clinic for assistance?
People coming, continuing to come to me, all my friends. It was 1,500 families first.
1,500 families in the first week or
In the first months.
first month, I see. And then I know from reading the autobiography that they just kept coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were coming then after, bit by bit, till they would reach 15,000 families.
At what point was it that it reached 15,000 families? After how many months?
2 years.
2 years.
Or more, no years. We have the peak in 2008 when the war is exacerbated and all 3 million of Mogadishu residents just had to flee a couple of days because of a severe clash happened between the government and Al-Shabaab, and Ethiopian was invading. That time was Islamic court, so it was a political mass. So the city became a battle zone. So 3 million people had to flee. And in our hospital is right the road where you leave the city. We're only 20 kilometers away from Mogadishu. So that's why we just took as much as we could. And when it reached up to 90,000, we didn't have any space to have them. So we just had to say,
Or any possibility to feed them or to give water. So I began to appeal to international organizations like ICRC, like WFP, UNICEF, and MSF. They come to me immediately, giving me food, my IDPs people, and they're giving me fuel, because we had a well, but to bring water, it needs fuel. They were giving me fuel, food, children, they were giving borscht, medicine, they were giving us medicine.
I imagine when it first began, you had no idea how long it would go on for. And of course, it went on for decades. I'm curious, at what point did you realize this wasn't just going to be a temporary shelter or a relief center?
Yes, these international organizations, they were giving us the plastic shelters. I was always thinking that maybe 1 week after become a peace, but peace went far, far, far till now, for 27 years.
Yeah. So can you describe what, clearly you went through many, many hardships in dealing with the magnitude.
What was bad, it was seeing very bad things, with bothering poor people and treating bad. But you cannot do nothing. You are only one person, woman in Africa. It was very difficult. I have witnessed many bad things.
You created a state within a state for that 25 years.
Then these people are fighting because of clan. In Africa we have tribalism, which is worse than terrorism.
Tribalism is worse than terrorism.
Tribalism worse than terrorism, because terrorism, if you get the law and power, you can eradicate. But tribalism, two clans will fight, some will be beaten, but those clans was beaten, they will tell all their children, and those children will tell other children, so never finished. Generations.
So that's why you started the law, I think so.
Then family, strong family and weak family, they will fight. Strong family will come and beat those weak family, which is my village. So I thought how to live with these people, how to command. I said, with an internal rule, I done no clan division in Somalia. If you come to my village, you are Somali only. If you are strong, it's up to you. You go, you are a clan. If you come to me, I will give you space to live, clean water, healthy water, free. If you are begin to say that I'm that clan, I beat this weak clan, you will go out. So the people in my village became equal then. They did not fight another time. There was no powerful clan who was pretending to be high of other families. They became equal.
So you were able to create the equal
Yes,
by
it's
not
equality.
allowing for clan divisions,
yeah.
but instead being Somali.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sure that was not an easy process. Were there
Okay.
people who still refused to not have their clan allegiances? But yeah, how did you deal with that?
Then after a few months, it begins family violence. The men becoming to beat their wives because man was working day and coming one already tired, and he saw all his friends. Now they are standing in under the plastic sheet. My father, mother, and children. Then when they talk, he beginning to beat his wife. Family violence became up. Children are running because they love their mother and their father, but father is beating mother. They are running to me, Mama Hawa, our father is beating our mother. Then I will send some people. It needed to do some decision. You cannot beat, but I said, bring him and put the jail.
And put him in jail?
Yes, in the
Yeah.
jail. We have a store. We will open some, these youth people will bring him and put in the jail.
And you should describe what this jail was, because I'm not sure everyone knows.
Not
It's
it
just
was
a
only store.
A storage
Yes.
storage closet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Storage carpet. He will sit down there, but after a few days, we are not talking with him till the elder and women or youth, the committee will decide this case. He will stay there.
So you basically created a rule of law within the
But it helped me.
environment.
These
There's no government.
two simple rules, it helped me. First, Somali in my village, they become equal without any pretending that he come a strong clan.
So everyone's equal. No one's pretending to be or claiming to be from a stronger or better clan.
Yeah.
Yes. And the second rule?
Second rule, the women, the man stop beating his wife.
No domestic violence.
Yes. Yeah. Great. And I've heard it's very effective being in the storage closet.
It is effective if you're in a dark, small room with a bunch of food sacks around you and you get claustrophobic in that little thing. But it works most of it, the majority of the time. But it took, I think, with my mom's persistence and 25 years of living there. So in the beginning, the people left, some of them, it was some clashes. But finally, by the time I arrived in 2007, the rule was in the place. So that they were teaching me. Some of them forgot. I was there in the beginning when the rule was implemented. It's like, make sure if there is any domestic violence, you immediately arrest the husband. It's like, okay, I will do it. So the committee was telling me one day when I was there, like, that's the rule, your mom did it. So my mom basically acts as a Supreme Court. So
She's the Supreme Court.
the committee decides how things should go. The youth, the young generation who grew up in the camp are doing the police action, arresting and all that. But my mom is the final. If they cannot decide, she's the Supreme Court where we should appeal if we could not decide the cases. Finally, all my friends and I, we used to have a fun and say, my mom, you never get to practice your law. So this is the opportunity. You practice after the war. So.
It helped me.
Yes.
And also it helped the society of my village.
That's great. What about maintaining structure and order in terms of food distribution and resources and water? When all of that is in such short supply, it must be very challenging to be as fair as you possibly can with all the needy families.
We decided we divide in the village 6 parts. Every part were having their committee who will bring his part's food, water, and also cleaning the village, sanitation of the village. They are responsible, this committee.
And I think the majority what made more beautiful the structure and system is people find a life, because majority of the camps and IDPs, internally displaced people in Somalia, they're just sitting and waiting aid, or there's a clash is happening. So within our village, they have a life. They wake up in the morning, the elderly gather, and they decide what is the problem next, how we could solve. The young generation cleans up, acts as a police. So you could feel, become more alive. So you don't have to keep telling them it's part of their daily routine, and they take very proudly. They say, oh, we are Hawa Abdi village, we have this is our rules. They tell everyone who comes to it. So it was fascinating. Me being after 10 years away and coming back and seeing the transformation.
So one of the most well-known incidents that made international headlines was in 2010 when Hizbullah's mom basically tried to take over the camp. And my understanding is you were put under arrest. They were trying to force you to relinquish full control.
2010.
And that was mentioned in the video. Yes.
2010, 8 May, they come, group of Islamists, Hizbullah Islam, they come and they say, you are women and old. You cannot run this camp with these people. You have to overhand and give us. We will command. We are young and we are men. Okay, I say, you are men because you have 2 tests. But God's also.
It's okay, you're both doctors. Yeah.
You have 2 tests, but God also has 2 tests. What you have done to your society. The people was with me. They come and say, you keep quiet. They may kill you. No, I say, I will tell what's the truth. What they have done, this is their society. What they are coming to tell me, hand over this camp or this village. You are women and old. You cannot run this shop. You are not in position to run this village. I say, I am sorry. You did not done nothing to this society. If you are men, it's up to you.
Were you not scared at all during this whole time? Because they had weapons, if I understand. Very scary weapons.
Yes. They were, one of my friends, he said, Hawa, keep quiet. Don't say nothing like that. Deqo Mohamed.
Yeah. So, but they come and attacked.
And after a few days, they surrounded us and they send all the weapons with heavy shelling in the hospital, in my house, in the pediatrician ward, in maternity ward. They send us. At that time, there was a watery diarrhea. Many children were admitted in that pediatria ward with few fluid water in the vein.
So the hospital was working fully.
Yes. And there were a woman where we operated. I operated C-section. I took a child. They were lying on their beds, but after heavy shelling, they ran. And one of those women opened it here for his stitch.
But luckily, patient didn't die. One of our security guards passed away, was killed during the attack.
Then they come and say, those during the attack, my daughter is connecting me BBC, Somali
Language,
broadcast. And I tell that Hezbollah attacked me, and my people now, they want to destroy our hospital, and my people, I don't know how many will remain. I make here big one. And all the Somali hear it, they come after, and you talk outside. Give your mobile. With me were 5 my nurses. They took all our mobile. They brought a minibus. They say, stand up. Me first. Okay, I stood up. The other children, the other nurse also stood up. Come. I went after them. We all went after them. They put us a minibus. All the people were crying. They thought that they will kill us, but they will not kill us. They brought somewhere where they have their offices, and they closed one room.
So they basically arrested you and have you there in 10 hours.
Yes, in 10 hours we were there.
Under house arrest.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. Before the house arrest, they took it to their place after she live broadcasted.
At
We
4
called
o'clock.
them, yeah.
At 4 o'clock, they bring me my phone. They say, you have many supporters. Tell your people that we don't harm to you, and you are safe, you are healthy. I talk first, my daughters, that I say, I am alive, I am okay, I have no problem.
Yeah, it was the longest 10 hours of my life, I think so.
Yeah.
We didn't know where she is, for her persistent and being strong, but still we were all blaming her in somehow, She shouldn't say resist them, but we're lucky to have her back. The live broadcast, I think, made them more aggressive and made them more mad because the whole over the Somalia was listening their shelling in radio. So whole country was shocked, like how in the world you can attack a hospital, especially Mama Hawa. So everyone was calling them, and then they get very scared, and they give her the phone and say, you need to talk to your people. You're still alive, we didn't kill you, just tell them, so they get off of our shoulders, they're pushing us, making sure you're alive. And she talked to them, she talked to us, and we told all our community.
All my friends also.
You're alive. Then they told her, we destroy your home, we're gonna take you somewhere tonight. And she said, no, you have to take me back to my home. I'm gonna die in my home. If I'm dying, I will die with dignity. So they brought her back to the home and had home arrest for 10 days. And what unique, I think my mom is not sharing, and it's amazing. We, like, as a family, whole country, like, we are relieved they released her, she's home. And we want everything, the work and to resume and everything, let's forget about what happened. No, she insisted. She said, no, I'm not starting anything unless they apologize. So it's like, what the hell? Mom, I'm begging you, this is enough. You know, you were about to get killed. You know, we have a lot, everything destroyed, and we have to rebuild basically the hospital the structure and everything. She said, no, they have to write an apology letter. It's not even one, 3 of it. One is for me, one is for the community, and one for the MSF. That time was Doctors Without Borders were running all pediatric section of the hospital. And it took a week conversation and back and forth. And we were all like, okay, another attack gonna happen tomorrow. So we didn't know. But finally, we were surprised. They wrote the letter. And
One letter or 3?
3 letters.
3 letters.
And they brought her. It's like, Mama Hawa, this is your letters. Let's open the hospital. Because
Amazing.
I really admire her courage. I think it's just the first time in the history of Somalia someone not only stood up to the warlords and Islamists, but also taught them a lesson. You need to apologize. What you have done was wrong.
So since 2012, 2013, much more peace has come to Somalia.
Yeah.
I would love to hear what the work has been like since peace has been more able to stabilize the country and make the work much less dangerous than these years that you're describing from 2010.
Yeah.
Yes. And I believe we have some photos of some of the work that
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will share with you some photos of the foundation. That's a beautiful photo of Glamour in 2010 when we received Glamour Woman of the Year. 3 of us, me and my mom and my sister. And it took 2 hours to take that shot. After this photo, I have deep respect for models. I was thinking it was very easy to take photos before. Next slide, please. So that's the hospital. This photo, one of my favorite photo because it's super busy. It's the outpatient. You see the registration is going on, the PB they check in, the weight, mothers are lining up. This is the peak when we had over 90,000, and daily we were receiving 500 and over patients. Next slide. So this is the medical outreach mobile clinics we do in the village. We still do. We try to keep as soon as we get some window for safety in the area to go, we go out. It's very beautiful. It's very rewarding to go and visit and just take all your medicine with you. There's nothing in there, and mothers are lining up and waiting for you. Next slide. And this is the primary school. The school is very dear to me and favorite to me. It's education, I loved it. And when in my high school, my country fell apart, so still it's stuck to my back. So this school was opened in 2000. It has a different story where we opened and it didn't work. We opened and it closed. But since 2008 and now 9 years is the school functioning fully. This is the primary school. Next slide, with my mom in the middle of it, we took this photo. We distributed the shirt. This is the pre-K preschool. This toys was delivered from Washington, D.C. and Seattle from Vital Voices. We're very grateful. So I try my best to have as any preschool in the world so they can have the games and education in early age, and we prepare for them in the future. Next slide. And this is one of my favorite photos of the primary school. Next slide. And this photo was taken by New York Times when they visited in our primary school when it was full. Over 27,000 kids were out of the school, and we could only have in this school 800. So very small numbers. When we say 800, people think, oh, it's a lot. But comparing to the kids out of the school, it's crazy. And what I want to really mention here today, this photo was taken 3-4 years ago, but these kids are now in high school. And they take in this class that Nicola and Charlotte was talking, and Hope is here, and all this came together because of Sarah Lulu. I want to teach. My mom always tells, the problem in Somalia is people, they don't know their rights. And that's her law speaking, and that's what I decided to do it. And really, Yale Law School and Shell Center helped to put this program together. And we have very big ambitions. And we were in the beginning thinking maybe just have 1 year, then every year we keep adding and we keep improving. Now we have 4 years program, and we're hoping to take this not only in our high school and all over Somalia, and teach the kids the conflict resolution, how this could work. Next slide. This is the map of the village in Google Earth. I just took it yesterday night, so if you go look at it. So I just want people to understand how the massive it is and how people are living in, and why we call it village, not camp anymore, because the people were there for 26 years, and now we have more concrete and the structures in the place, not only plastic sheets, and just to dignify, how they mobilize, how they organize themselves. So this is all, let me see if I can point. It's gonna work or not. Oh yes, that's the school. That's the high school, we just built it. And it has a huge playground so the kids can have fun. So this is all a small structure at the hospital, and this is the primary school beginning. This is the road, the main road. So this is the first settlement. And this is the football ground, and this is the other settlement. Each settlement we have, this is the back where we have mango trees. This is my mom's, what she calls Camp David. She gets rest, goes back there after all crazy work is going on in there. So it's a very massive, and this part of the road is our land, but we are also responsible 6 kilometers around us. So the UN and international community, when there's funding and food distribution, we cover all area. Next slide. And this is how we decide. Actually, we have the committee. There's no office. There's no city hall you go. It's everyone comes to the Camp David under the mango trees. So that's the mango trees, and solving a case. And we had visitors, these young diaspora boys and girls came to visit and see how we could solve daily cases and discussion between them. So we took the photo. Next slide. And this is the daily new arrivals, because you have a clash, people will come. The village and the camp is known all over Somalia, so they come for temporary. When their village gets quiet, they go back to their city. So we do have every other day, new arrivals, or every week might be 2-3 families. The minute they arrive, we try to register and give whatever food we have or plastic sheets, and find places to stay. If they have already relatives in the village, they will stay with their relatives. Next slide. And this is another new arrivals, just waiting outside of the hospital, in front of the hospital. This is structure. And next slide. And I want to just a little bit talk about the drought.
Absolutely.
So next, it's a drought, and it's really heartbreaking. It's all, you want to go forward. We have a government system in a place. I have been here doing my wonderful Yale Fellow program, 6 months. Then as soon as I went home, it's the droughts there, the election, and I felt like we're going backward instead of forward. So it was a very tough time for me, and it was very hard to see same drought we have seen, even worse in 2011. So 2011, all world supported, Somalia was there, we did fundraising and everything. And after short, 5 years, you're still in the same place, and there's no structure and anything. So we gathered a lot of young Somalis, come together with all our frustration. We thought, okay, let's use our frustration something good. So let's not wait until international community reaches us, with NGOs, everyone. We pledge and a bill outside. Let's do something inside. And that worked. And so we created a mobile system. We started feeding. We started putting every 10 kilometers some feeding centers. We gathered together information. Then in dilemma come in. And it's like, we don't know where we're helping. We don't know who is where helping. So next slide. This is the feeding centers. Now we have and this is for the children. In the beginning, we do the Porsche cook, and we took this food from the local stores, from the business guys. So we didn't even wait until money comes. We call everyone who knows in diaspora, please send $100, $50, buying the food, collecting the food, high school students going out to the homes and the stores asking food. So that's how we mobilize. Next slide. Next slide. This is the children in the morning breakfast. So, it's gone, the rice.
It might come back.
Okay.
I think they're trying.
Okay, that's, so I want to just go back to that mob. Next slide. This is the food for the rice we cook for the adults. Next slide. And next. This is the map. I just want to talk. It's the drought and how we can reach people, where we are reaching, where people are dying. And as we know, when the drought comes, there's not enough water. And it's all preventable diseases comes. So immediately, like 3 weeks when I was back in Somalia, the watery diarrhea broke out in our village, not too far. We have enough water, but next neighbors, and we lost 2 kids immediately first couple of days. And it's preventable. It's very frustrating being in this situation. So we created this unique map with young Somali diaspora in Sweden, in Holland, in London, gathering together using technologies today, giving this information. And when you see the red area is where we have a death. Orange, it's the food, it's needed. And in green, where we have NGOs. We know someone is there. And we need to call that NGO. So we communicated within 1 month. We put whole country map. This united us. There's no division in Somalia. We didn't care, is that the Al-Shabaab area or someone else? We had to care if people where they're dying. And young people united and gathered together for only the situation in drought. Something good came out, but it's very frustrating to me to be in that situation. And also, it's very empowering. We could do something. We could make a difference before even anyone gets there and before international community reaches us. And we reduced the number of deaths for diarrhea. We reduced the number of deaths for starvation. And this project is still going on. We have the website now, and Minister of Humanitarian Disaster working with us to put information in our website. OCHA UN is following our website. We put the report. It's very easy, simple thing. Everyone can go in and put the information with the phone, and 4 of us will verify, is this true or not? So we call everyone when we have verified is really true, we will follow, and we will ask who is the closest one to distribute food or water to them, or medicine even. So that's how we mobilize, and it's amazing, and it's good to see, but we have to have more sustainable programs in the country.
Yeah.
So that's next slide. I think I'm done. So that's the future generation of Somalia, future leaders here. This is one of my favorite photos in the village.
Thank you so much. This is, I think, a great place to end with thinking about all the amazing work that you've been doing for the many decades, the work that you're still doing, and then the hope in Somalia's future. So thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So we're going to bring the lights back up in the house, and we will, if all of you have questions that you want to pose to Drs. Abdi and Mohamed, we'd be very happy to have a few of them. I think we have a little bit of time for questions. So I think everyone should have a paper and pencil. So if you can pass your questions, there are aides coming down the aisle to, and if you do not have a paper and pencil, just raise your hand and someone, and one of the aides should get to you. So, yeah. Mariah, I think people are raising their hand if they want a paper or pencil. Yeah. All right, thanks. So we're gonna do questions now. Yes. Thank you so much. This is wonderful. Yeah.
I want to say to the audience, thank you for coming and sharing my history with
Yeah.
me.
Yes.
And I want to thank also Yale University to giving me this opportunity to see this beautiful college. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
فدي فدي سؤالنا الويدينا.
Okay. Mariah, maybe we should just bring some down because we can always keep collecting.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Okay, great. Okay, you ready for the first question? Okay. What has your experience taught you about the role of humanitarian aid from foreign organizations and their relationship with local NGOs? Not an easy question. But
No, it's
yeah.
a tough question.
I didn't.
maxaa laga bartay humanitarian aidka NGO-yada iyo maxay tarayaan anaa ku jawaabaya ana ku jawaabde
Hey, ka jawaab.
jawaabay
Jawaab.
oh it's humanitarian aid is excellent in disaster just to deliver one time, but when it comes alive for almost quarter a century, it's a disaster. It's basically a disaster. You're creating a whole generation dependent on aid. The whole system of aid is not set up for sustainability and for the future. So it's all same cycle. You fundraise, you finish the money, you come back, the project ends, and billions of money was wasted for last 20 years in Somalia, 25 years, and nothing is done. So it's very painful to me. It's good to have humanitarian work, but we have to restructure and rethink more sustainable way, and maybe use only when it needs for that emergency. It's not continuously. It's not effective.
But it saves life.
Yes.
It saves life.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Yep.
Yeah, in that way. The second question, oh, thank you so much. So I apologize ahead of time because there's quite a few questions, and we'll do our best to get through as many of them as we can. The second question is, given your experience, you have both been called on to join multiple peace conferences and committees that aim to chart a peaceful and politically sustainable future for Somalia. What has your experience been like with these, and what lessons can we take away from these projects, given that many have failed in the past?
badanaa laga casubo Soomaaliya maxaa structure oo ku suurtagalay
I have now,
maxaan ka baranaynaa
I know that I won't tell you that everything you want, you can reach. Just it needs to be persistent and committed. Nothing is impossible in this world. Although this world now is burning, our world is burning now. Really, tears, pain, and the world is ours. World is one. Human being is one. Our needs is one. Every one of us has responsibility to make this world a peaceful place, because we want to live nicely, and that is depending on us. If people, human being now is one, their needs is one, world is one, we are all one.
Yeah. And what we learned from being in humanity, the question was, I think
The question?
you captured, I think, some part of it. I hope so.
Yes, you did. You
Yeah.
definitely did. I have a question that is in some ways a follow-up. It says, in the face of tribalism, war, and famine, how have you found the strength to live and love through it all, I think? What should you What should you want Somalis and everyone to know about love? So it's kind of a profound question in some ways. Yeah.
dhibka aan martay iyo dagaalkii rafaadkaana ku jirta intay ka heshay awood aa kusii socotid iyo jaceylkaana dadka u qabtid.
God give me that strength.
God gave you the strength.
Yeah.
Sorry. There you go.
You
Microphone.
need to speak louder.
Okay. God give me the strength.
Yes.
I think to me it's the people that inspire me. And I think my mom also will say it's the people in Somalia. And
My people respect me, loves me, and I love them. I love my country and my people. I gave already my life and soul to my people and my country. And they respect me. And I'm getting also international respect to other human beings on these 5 continents.
Yes, yes, you most definitely have our deepest respect. Oh dear, it will be okay. We have a question here that wants to have more details about the storage closet. Is there anything more to add to that story?
nothing much really. It's just it's just a way to punishing the mistake has done. So if you let it go, what happened, and you say, talk about it, and it's not going to be solved. But when you punish in a soft way, because you have still a conflict zone, you have trauma people, you cannot just do as a real jail or anything, or have a strong rules and law. It's just, I think it helped a lot. And it's basic. Some days it's full. We don't have space to arrest anyone. And some days the food distribution time, we don't arrest anyone. We try to find other rooms to close it. So that's the way it works. Nothing or special or fancy, or you don't have a specific jail funding for that. So.
Right. So this question is, what was the most difficult disagreement or conflict that arose in Hawa Abdi village and that you needed to resolve? It might be difficult to pick one, but you can try. Yes.
To stop land division.
Land division.
Land division. That was very difficult for all Africa and for Somalia. But I win. In my village, there is no clan division. But all other countries in Africa, they have clan division, even Somali more.
It's what I think we always have the conversation is the problem in how we are very linked and tied and dependent on clan because it's insurance. Basically, when you have a sick child or there's a death, your clan funds you. So that's why the people are dependent on clan issue. So I think the biggest issue she solved is to release this dependency to the clan. So when people have opportunity, the hospital where they can bring their kids when they're sick, the community that supports them when they need things. I think the biggest problem she solved, she's not saying, is just teaching people you don't have to belong to clan allegiance and agree with them wrong and right. You can be independent and have as a human being and support your fellow humans. I think that was the biggest challenge I think she solved in the camp. But the daily cases, one by one, it happens, It's a war zone. Today you have a gun pointed on you, and her kidnap situation to me was the hardest part.
So I think I'm going to conclude by, there are two quick comments. I believe we might have some Somalis in the audience who want to express their thanks to you for all the amazing work that you've done. So I just want to make sure to acknowledge that voice of gratitude. And then the last question is, how can we best support your work?
Oh, fantastic. In many, many ways, you can join the wonderful 2 programs is going on in Yale, the business class in Jackson, supporting the ideas. And one of really what I needed during here, and we talk a lot with my mom and my sister how we could be sustainable, how we could be independent, how we could create more jobs. That brings the peace and stability in the country. So, and we have a great opportunity here at Jackson Institute helping us to create a business in a failed stage, which is one of its kind in the world, I think so. And we're trying so you can get involved physically, or maybe the school for education program, or the best thing is to give them money, go to the website. So this is one thing I learned. So you cannot do anything without money. That's how we're creating the business. We have to be very honest to ourselves. The majority why these states are failing because there's no funding. The government is weak and corrupted, and people don't have the money. So when you don't have a job, you will be able to do anything.
Thank you so much. And of course, we will let you have the last word. So whatever last parting comments you have on the audience, please feel free to share them.
I will tell all human beings they are one, and we have to defend each other. We have to defend each other. We have to try to live a peaceful and good life. And that is, we can do that if we know reality, that we are one everywhere. When something happens one corner of this world, the other corner will spread and reach. So we have to stop every bad things and help each other. I want to say that people has to support each other, has to prevent every bad thing in this world, and make this world a better place for living, for us, for our children, for our grandchildren.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Go ahead.